Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and this is my, I suppose this is my Monday catch-up. I kind of do a Sunday chat, although I haven't done one for a couple of weeks because I've been quite busy getting the In Search of Sussex series filmed and out to you. And so I do a sort of Sunday chat which rounds up the week, although this one's late, so let's call it the Monday chat. But I also know that people will approach these videos at different times, so it's kind of all irrelevant really. But anyway, welcome to my chat about what I've been up to. I hope you are well and surviving the COVID-19 lockdown or the restrictions that have been lifted so that you've been getting out into the countryside. Certainly when I've been filming, I've noticed there's a lot more people wandering over the South Downs, and I presume that that is replicated up and down the country, that people are enjoying the great outdoors, which quite rightly, having been trapped inside your houses, has been one of those things that I guess you've just been desperate to do, to get out and actually enjoy the footpaths and the scenery, the landscape, the heritage and the nature. And I've been trying to provide that all the way through this rather worrying period. Also, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's joined our Facebook group, the Bald Explorer Facebook group. Lots of people have been joining over the last few weeks, which has been absolutely brilliant, and you can still join if you so wish. And those people who are watching the YouTube videos, the numbers of subscribers have been going up, which is absolutely terrific. I'm thrilled and I'm very, very thankful. We've got over 11,500 subscribers, which 3 years ago when I started to do the daily 10-minute videos was a figure that was, you know, sky high and miles away. So it's really thrilling that people are engaged with what we do. So the In Search of Sussex series, in which I'm following the walks presented by Arthur Stanley Cook in his Off the Beaten Track, seem to be going down very well. And as you've noticed, that I've taken a slightly different cinematic style, if you like, a more traditional filming style than the GoPro on a little handle that I was doing for the 10 minutes. And one of the reasons for that is I wanted to add a certain amount of quality to those video productions, and I do want to try and make them longer. It's not always possible because I still want to try and get something out every day. For me, that's important. It's a target, but it's also, I feel it's great and it has worked with the YouTube algorithm. And it's habit forming. People seem to like, on a coffee break or in the morning or before they go to bed or when they wake up, a little 10-minute something from the Vobes out and about in the landscape. So that's really encouraging. And again, thank you very much for that. Now, to add to the cinematic filming, I've been doing what I've called footnotes. So we started over in Hangleton with a walk that in the book is on chapter 4, and I hadn't really paid much attention to Hangleton in the past, and we went to the Hangleton Place, as it was once called and now is Hangleton Manor, and I took a walk up over the Downs to Devil's Dyke, which of course a lot of people know. It's a stunning landmark and very, very popular. You try filming there at, say, 6:15 in the morning, thinking there'll be nobody there surely at that time, and there's cyclists and there's runners and there's walkers and everyone, and you're trying to get shots not particularly devoid of people, but just so that you can work without people sort of interrupting you or coming up the paths and you've got to wait, and I try to work as swiftly as I can because I've got to come back by lunchtime or mid-morning and then get the show edited. And as you know, I'm also doing readings in the week live at 4 o'clock, and I need to be in the studio and I need to get everything else out the way so that I can do that. And then I do a Vogue show in the evening, 3 days a week now. And so there's a lot to cram in. So that's why one's desperate to try and film these things without having to hang about too much. But oh yeah, it does get busy at Devil's Dyke. Anyway, so then from Devil's Dyke down the other side, the north side of the Downs to Poynings, and that's where we've left the series so far. And I've got to get across from Fulking to Edberton, and that will be the last concluding part of chapter 4 of the book, and this little sort of semi-sequence of 4 programs. Now the footnotes are a sort of a by the way, or as it says, footnotes, and of course I'm using my feet, so it's a bit of a play on words, to walk around the area with a few extra notes, so quite literally footnotes to that was the concept. So that just added little bits of walks that Arthur Stanley Cook may have presented, but it's just exploring more of the footpaths really in the area whilst people are thinking, if they're following what I'm doing. And a lot of people do say, oh, we follow you on the map and all of that, and it gives people something extra to look at. So they've been going down really well. We did one around the Dyke Railway, which I hadn't done a huge amount of research, because as you'll appreciate, getting these videos out every day doesn't give you a lot of time. And I assumed that the council laid trail would be where the railway went from Brighton and then through to Aldrington and then up to Hangleton. And it's Hangleton that the council then tarmacked a path up onto the Downs so that you can walk. And I assumed it was on the track bed, but apparently it's not. And then the last bit, I suppose 200-300 yards or so, is actually on private land now, and so it's diverted to the main road that goes up to Devil's Dyke, the path, and the bit that would have come into the station you can't no longer do. But you only learn that, and what I find is great is I'll go and film all this stuff, and then people will come back and they'll correct me and they'll tell me about the things that you can and can't do, or what I've missed and all of that, which just adds to the overall fount of knowledge. So do keep those comments coming. I do find them very intriguing, and they're really good. And of course people are commenting both on the Facebook, where I put my videos, and on YouTube, so there's different audiences for the different platforms, which is superb. We looked at the biog of Arthur Stanley Cook in one of the videos, and I'm really indebted to the people who, particularly to Lee Lawson and Nick Rowland, who did a lot of research, but I know Linda Kane and a couple of others had flirted with some bits of research. So it's fascinating, and I'm hoping that I can continue this concept of taking some old books from old times and follow some of the routes. And of course at the moment I'm doing it in Sussex, because we have certain restrictions of movement at the moment. Whilst we are able to go away, we're not able currently, as I record this, to stay overnight anywhere, which is a shame. But once we are able to be able to get back on in camper vans or in Airbnbs and that sort of thing, I do want to go further afield and not just explore Sussex, although there is a huge amount of Sussex to explore, and I've barely touched East Sussex. And there's a lot going towards Kent side that is fascinating, interesting, and of course steeped with history, and the landscape is also quite different to the Sussex, the West Sussex side. So there's lots of that, but that's a sort of going to be an ongoing thing, because I live based in this area. But I do, and I'm just trying to reassure you, I do want to try and, over the years ahead, keep going to get the trips going to other places. And once we've sorted out what we're doing with the 2-meter distance from each other, is to continue to go with the lovely Julia to places, Kevin Hall, who we always have a good laugh with, and other contributors. I want to bring all that lot back in the show, and new people watching this perhaps not seeing some of the older stuff. I used to do a lot with a lot more other people, but of course I've had to do a lot of solo stuff at the moment because of the situation with this coronavirus, which has sort of shaped everything. Had a brief look at maps and some of the maps because somebody had asked me, how do you plan a route? So that video is up there if you want, with a few ideas. And of course there's loads of things that I could have put into the video, forgot about. And sometimes it's when making video, you don't want to overwhelm the viewer with too much information because you're watching it in a linear format, and you just want to put in enough that will pique people's interest. So, and that goes true for when I'm out on location. I often get people saying, oh, but you didn't mention this, or you went past that, or didn't you know that this? And I'm not in any of my videos really trying to give you chapter and verse to the history and the nature and the landscape of everything, because you just never be able to do it. So it's just giving a few interesting things to pique the interest. And again, that's where the comments will come in and people can add to it. And then I can think, oh yeah, maybe that's a separate video, and then go back and do it. So, you know, that's the thing. In terms of going out with more walks in the future, very much keen to keep the In Search of Sussex theme going. And Arthur Stanley Cook's book, Off the Beaten Track, is just one of a number of books. So I do want to have a look at some other books which will give us perhaps a different slant on different places. And I'm not necessarily going to follow Off the Beaten Track consecutively, because I've looked through the chapters and some of them I've got videos where I've already been to these places, and I'd only be repeating myself. And I think the interest will be to go to new places that I've not yet explored, and I can of course put references to those that that I've already been to. So we still have some lovely weather. It's absolutely beautiful out there. It's very hot. It does get very hot by about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and you're lugging all the gear around. So yeah, that can be quite tiring as well. But thank you very much for watching the videos and supporting what I do. Of course, you can become a patron, and people do. And when you become a patron, you get something called the Naked Englishman podcast, which is a very raw, behind the scenes look at what I get up to every day. It's an audio podcast. I just record my thoughts and feelings and give you a sort of a diary of what I've been up to, and plans and thoughts on things and that sort of thing. It's a very loose format. So if you become a patron, and what you'll get is an email from me to say thanks very much, and you opt in, so you have to tell me you want it. But otherwise, continue to like, follow, subscribe, all the usual things, and I will endeavour to get out and about and make as many of these videos as I possibly can. So thank you for watching. Have a great week ahead, and I will catch up with you soon. Meanwhile, the other bane of my life is getting on with the editing, so I better go and do a bit more of that. Till next time, bye-bye, bye-bye.